right, welcome back to another episode of Unstoppable Overcomers. I'm your host, Dorothy O'Dell. So I've been hearing a lot about menopause, and I don't know if you watched the show that Oprah put out. She put a special out about it, had a bunch of different actresses and friends on there. And so it made me think, why, this is a growing topic. I hear a lot of women in my community that are going through the same thing. And there are some stories out there, and it's not one thing that my mother ever talked to me about. And so today, I have Lisa Valente with us here today. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I kind of froze up. I'm not sure what's
Yeah,
going on.
you're frozen.
I'm frozen. Well, you can hear us. It will come back in a minute here, so I'm sorry. All right. So, Lisa, welcome to the show.
So I really, when I seen that you were looking people to talk about this subject, I really wanted to talk to you because not enough women are talking about perimenopause. Not enough women know the difference between perimenopause and menopause. So a lot of women think, I'm going to go into menopause and it's just going to be terrible. Well, menopause is 365 days without having a menstrual cycle. So once you get into menopause, that's when things start leveling out. And I'm not an expert, but from what I'm learning is that perimenopause is where all the symptoms are in place. They can last anywhere from 2 years to 10 years, some women 15 years. And a lot of women are on antidepressants. A lot of women are having anxiety. A lot of women are having so many issues, and nobody's having a conversation that, hey, this is why you may be going through this.
Right.
So it's a really important conversation, and I think that not enough women are talking about it. Why, as a woman, when I was at my lowest, darkest point of my life, did not one woman know what was going on or how to help me or how to have these conversations?
Right. It's funny. I've been saying that I've been going through the perimenopausal for the last 15 years. I couldn't get a doctor to believe me. I couldn't. You're too young. You're too young.
Yeah.
So, and I was in my 30s back then. And so, but the different things that we were going through, it took me, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was having chest pains, and I was driving, and I almost passed out. So I pulled over, and then I made an appointment with my doctor because it scared me so badly, sent me to the heart specialist. So the heart specialist did all these tests, everything's normal. And it just dawned on me this last year that it's like, wait a minute, that's a symptom of perimenopausal. And, our MDs only get, I think, 4 hours of training on menopause. So it's not their fault, but we should, educate ourselves. And I think that's why I wanted to have this conversation. So what were some of the things that you were going through?
So I'm 48 right now. For the past 6 years, I kept saying, I'm having menstrual cycles like I'm a teenager. Like, they were so heavy. And when I was on my cycle, I always felt better. Most women are like, I don't feel well. I always felt better because I think that when I was on my cycle, it was like everything was balancing out. So I was at work one day, and it felt like the driveway was going to hit me in the face. And I went through dizzy spells. Like, I was so dizzy. I felt like I was on a boat. It was at the point where I was like, I can't take this anymore. So I go to the doctors. She's like, oh, it's just like vertigo. They sent me to like 3 different specialists. They were saying, oh, it's just probably vertigo. Like, no clear answers. I started getting really itchy ears. Itchy ears is a number one sign of perimenopause. So severe. So I was like, in the morning, putting eardrops in my ears. I'm dizzy. I can't see. I work in a place with all women, and I didn't find that I got a lot of support from the women around me. A lot of them were like, well, I didn't experience that. Or some of them just they just didn't clue into that perimenopause is serious. So I went through a full year of dizzy spells. It was just I at one point I was like, I can't take this anymore. Then what had ended up happening was I started to feel better for about 3 months. And I was like, oh, this is nice. No more dizzy spells. I'm feeling good. And then I was driving to work one day and I get almost to the driveway and I had a massive panic attack. It was so severe. I didn't know what to do. It didn't feel like a normal panic attack because I get panic attacks and I get anxiety and I know what panic attacks and anxiety are.
Mm.
And this just felt so much different. So instead of going to work, I just turned my car around. I went home and I didn't feel right for about a week. It was manageable, but I still didn't feel right. So I woke up on a Saturday morning. My whole body felt shaky, like from head to toe. I had this shake in my whole entire body. And I'm like, what is going on? I had company over that night. I didn't want to talk to my company. I didn't want to see my company. Then I started doing really odd things throughout the week. I was so anxious I couldn't function. I would wake up in the morning. I called in sick almost every day. I would sit in my car and I would cry. And I would just cry for an hour. I would cry till my daughter got home from school at 3:30. I'd be in my car and I'd be like, wow, 8 hours just passed. And this happened every single day for 6 months. I it was not I kept seeing the doctor, I see my psychiatrist, they're saying it's just anxiety, it's just OCD, and I'm saying, but it's something more than that. I have anxiety, I know anxiety, something is going on. Then I was in my I'd be in my living room and I didn't want anyone to touch my stuff. I didn't want anyone to come into my space. And my daughter-in-law actually went, you're going through perimenopause. And I said, why? She said, that's what my grandma did. She said she had all her stuff on her end table and nobody was allowed to touch anything. Then it started to get so dark where I was waking up in the morning and I did not want to live. Like I don't want to live. I don't feel like myself. My life felt completely different. The person I was 3 weeks prior was like dead. It was like someone sucked the soul out of my body. And I did not feel the same. It was just, I don't even know how to describe it. But when people kept on saying to me, like, it's just anxiety. And I'm like, it's not though. You don't understand. Anxiety, you feel anxious, it passes. Or a couple of days it passes. Or you can have a warm tea and a hot bath. I started to get such bad contamination OCD. Like I've never had those things before. I wouldn't drink water. I wouldn't eat food. I'd lost like 60 pounds. Um, I wasn't connecting. People were talking to me and I wasn't connecting to who they are or what was going on. My husband would say, you had that million-mile stare where he said, I didn't know if you were going to come back to us. Like it was so severe and I felt so unsupported because people just kept calling me, my friends saying, you just need to pull it together. You just need, this will pass. You just need to go on some medication. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to explain, I want to die. Like, I don't want to live right now. Like, I seriously was waking up going, how can I end my life today? My hormones were out of whack. Now, the other issue that you have is you go to the doctor, and my doctor's like, oh, that's not signs of perimenopause. So I'm like, I'm dizzy. My ears are itchy. I don't feel like myself. My periods are way out of whack. Like, I was going 52 days with my period. Then I would go 2 months no period. Then I went 3 straight months with a period. So I'm like, clearly something's going on, and I'm 48. And no one would help me. Like, no one would help me except to say, like, you need to go to the hospital. Like, maybe you should go do a 3-day check-in at the hospital. And I was trying to explain, like, I work in this field. And I
Mm-hmm.
know what's going to happen when you go to the hospital. They're going to try to adjust the medication, set me up with a psychiatrist,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to ask me to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need to be at the hospital. They're not going to do anything for me there.
Right. I remember when you were going through what I thought when you were posting some stuff on Facebook, I thought to me it sounded like depression. And so I know you put out a plea like somebody help me, and I'm like, hey, I'm here
Yeah.
if you need to talk. And I said, hey, I said, you want to go for a walk, and you just this week said, I don't even remember you asking me this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, that's intense. Like I've never
I,
and the itchy ears, it's funny because I have hearing aids and I have tinnitus before I had
right.
perimenopause. So I'm just, the last year, it's been really intensely itchy. And I'm like, what's going on with me? Like, I haven't changed any of my foods or anything like that. Because
Yeah.
the first thing my holistic doctor asks is, well, what did you change differently in your diet? Um, and it was nothing. But I just found out yesterday about the itching in the ears that
It's
is,
bad.
yeah, that's premenopause
Yeah.
or perimenopausal.
And I'm surrounded by women. I have a lot of girlfriends. I have a lot of friends. I worked in a place with all women. I work at another place with all women, and I felt so unsupported. Like I felt like nobody understood what I was going through. No one could help me. I had a friend finally call me and say, "You know what? The only person who can pull you out of this is you." And I'm like, "But I can't even pull myself out of this because this is hormonal. There's something going on, and my doctors won't help me. The doctor won't prescribe me anything. There's no HRT that she's going to give me. When she's running the blood tests, all my blood tests are coming back normal because when you test, you can test 10 times a day, and it's going to be different 10 times a day. So how
Right.
do you pull yourself out of that? That the only reason I was able to make it connect for hormonal because I had felt like that at one other time in my life, and that's when I had as just a zero cervical cancer. Very easy. They did a quick leap and they were able to fix that. And I remember 3 days after that surgery feeling the same way I did, and it lasted again about 4 to 5 months.
Wow.
So I kind of put that connection together.
Right.
But my closest friends, they were like, well, we're not going through that. But now that I'm feeling better, I'm
Yeah.
getting phone calls and I'm getting messages from my close friends going, I don't know, like I think I need to go on some meds. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling angry. And I went through a period of time where I felt so angry. Like I remember like just yelling at everybody, just very moody.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm still getting my periods, so I'm still in perimenopause. But right now, it's the honest feeling like I feel how I did 20 years ago. Before all that pain, like before all those first relationships and all that pain and,
Hmm.
um, all that stuff you go through in life and those learning lessons and things that broke you, like when the world broke you,
Right.
it's so strange. Like right now, I feel like I feel like I healed my inner child this year. I don't know if that's part of perimenopause because they say when you hit menopause, you don't care anymore, right?
Right.
Um, but even when I do my notes for work, it's like I got all colored pencils and pens and gel pens, and I write them all out. I used to like really enjoy like drinking on the weekends and having social drinks with friends, and I quit drinking a year ago. Like absolutely, like I'm like I cannot do that. I
Hmm.
just don't feel like I'm the same person, and I'm struggling with that. And I'm somebody said to me last week, I said I'm dealing with post traumatic stress from what I went through the past 2 years.
Right.
And she said, no, I think you're going through post traumatic growth because you're calm.
Hmm.
You really are. Everything I'm doing right now is intentional. I still have a 9 year old where I had her later in life, and I just want things to be so much more special. Like I'm not, I feel like I was always rushing through work and always putting work first and getting dinner ready. And just, I'm not like that anymore. It's just like if we need a day off, let's take a day off. Like nobody's checking your grades from grade 4. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I feel like a different person. And I jumped on a Reddit site because when you go through all of this, what do? You jump on every thread you can get on. And a
Mhm.
lot of women mentioned that. They said, I feel like the person I was when I hit menopause as before I hit my period. So
Hmm.
I don't know if there's a correlation, or I'm not an expert. I'm
Right.
just a person here with some lived experience. But I when I say that I was going through this stuff, it wasn't just minor. This was every single day. I'd wake up feeling doomed. And how you were saying depression, I've never suffered from depression. Maybe that I went through depression, or
Mhm.
I just it was so severe. It took away everything that I loved. I couldn't cook. I couldn't clean. Even feeding people gave me anxiety. Like weird thoughts. If you look at OCD, people think that OCD is like cooking and keeping things clean and numbering things, but it's not. I would wake up with these thoughts that would not go away, and they would torment me for hours and hours and hours to the point where I thought I was going to lose my whole family. I thought that I was going to have to go to a nursing home at one point. I was like, I worked hard my whole life. I'm a businesswoman. I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to lose my child. I couldn't take care of Lily. Like, it's
Mhm.
so sad. Like, uh, her dad had to just do everything. Like, I couldn't function. And I tried to keep my distance from her. So it was like, okay, honey, have a good day at school. I tried to keep moments that I could handle, but I
Mhm.
tried to keep a little bit of a distance because I was like, I'm losing my mind. I don't want her to see me lose my mind.
Right. So, what
Yeah.
was the turning point for you? Like, what helped you get on the other side of all that?
I so what I ended up doing was I ended up paying a lot of money. A lot of money. It was expensive. About I got an exposure therapist because I ended up getting this OCD from this. Like it was so bad. Um and I needed someone to pull me back and pull me back right away. So I've seen hundreds of therapists, and I'm not saying anything negative about any therapist. I feel like you have to be really careful who you call. Like a lot of them are talk therapy, and a lot of therapists are, you know, they're there to talk and to work through like divorce or like little things. But I think that when it comes to where it was extreme OCD, extreme panic, I was in fear. Every time Lily would leave my house, or my husband would leave, or my mom would leave, I'd pass out. I was so scared. And if I knew that they had to go to a baseball game at 3 o'clock, I didn't want to be alone. And I would literally like anticipate for hours them leaving. And then leave, they'd be at the corner. Like they'd literally be at the stop sign.
Right.
And I would just be, it was fear, intense fear all day long about everything. That's why it was like, even my psychiatrist was like, I don't think this is like a mental health thing. It's a whole other level. Like I would say, like it was like the devil. Actually, I had a therapist say, like, I can't even work with you. This is the works of the devil. Like it was
Wow.
fear. Like I was so scared of everything. Um, and then this exposure therapist comes in, and she was like, "We have to get you functioning. Like, uh, you have to drink water. Like, let's go in the kitchen. You're gonna drink a water. You're not gonna pour it out. You're not gonna rinse your glass. You need to eat food." I was going and getting food. I'd look at the food. I think it was contaminated, and I'd throw it out. Like, that's not me though. Like, I've never had that happen to me. I
Right.
was so scared of water. I like I you just wake up one day and you're just scared of water. And it was and so I found another doctor that said yes, like a lot of people who go through perimenopause, that this is what it's like, a switch, right?
Right.
So this woman was just amazing. She just went like, let's work at little things. Let's get Lisa back. So when she was able to just snap me out of that. But with that being said, I was still so out of whack that I still was not 100%. I'm still today not 100%. What I've learned today was how to cope, how to
Right.
cope, like how
Right.
to cope. So I don't like run from my anxiety, or if I'm having a panic attack, it's like if this is my new norm, this is my new norm. So I need to learn how to sit in the fear and just know that it's just a feeling. It's not going to hurt me. I still haven't got any answers from my doctor. I still, up until 2 weeks ago, of still getting hormonal testing. It's all coming back normal. Like, it's all coming back normal.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and it will. And she told me, she said, don't fall for those gimmicky scams. And I'm sorry if anyone's watching, but I mean, I've really looked into this. If you're sending off to get your hormones tested, at the end of the day, they can test different every hour. So they're not accurate. And I went to a holistic doctor as well, a naturopath doctor, and she said the same thing. She was like, we can test, and hopefully we see something at that test, but technically we would have to test you every couple of hours for like a month. And she
Wow.
said, you'll see it, it'll just fluctuate. But I do know that my doctor was, she was good where she was scared for me. Like, I remember getting phone calls and they were saying, like, we need to see you in the office. And I was like, not leaving my house. I'll come by Zoom. And finally, when I started to feel better, went to her office, she was like, I was scared, but she said, she actually made me cry because she was like, to watch a woman who's so powerful and so, like, you do so much, and to watch you break down like that
Mhm.
was really, really terrifying for me. But at the end of the day, she's still saying, but I can't help you. Menopause is just menopause. Peri's just peri, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So
Right.
I still haven't got any support.
That, I think that's the most frustrating thing, because I
Like,
went
my
into
ears
my
itchy now.
doctor.
Sorry.
No, no. You're right. Like, I went into my doctor and she said, after 2 years of saying you're too young to be even in perimenopausal,
Yeah,
then I went in and I said no, because I was talking to my holistic doctor, and then went back into my MD, and I said, listen, here is my list of symptoms, and I had 15 of them at that time that I knew. And she goes, well, that's just perimenopausal. And I said, okay, so what do we do? Well, what do you want to treat? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes,
yeah,
well, she goes, there's different things for different things you want to treat. So the hot flashes is one thing, the night sweats is another. I didn't even know about the itchy ears then, but I've had moments of uncontrollable rage, but
yeah,
it wasn't a thing when I was talking to her. Like, that had come on after I had talked to her. But it was, I had this list, and she goes, I said, well, and I'm also concerned about my thyroid, because there's thyroid issues in my family, right? And so, okay, fine, I'll send you to an endocrinologist. And now here I wait. I can't see them until August of this
yeah,
year. I went last year for that. I'm like,
yeah,
this is bullshit. Um, and like, still no support from my ND. But I was doing some research after watching that Oprah special, and we actually have an OBGYN in South Windsor that deals with menopause.
What's
They're
her
on
name?
Dougal. They're on Dougal. There's
Oh,
5 doctors in there. I think it's called the South Windsor something center.
so,
Anyways, it's on Dougal. So I'm going to see if I can get referred into there.
well, so what I did was I had to wait a year to get my appointment because I started that when I was getting my dizzy spells. But
Right.
then what ended up happening was I was not functioning. You got to think I was not functioning. So I could not even get out my door to get to my appointment. So I was like, if I'm in that severe state, you can't do a phone, at least a phone consultation with me, or just something to help me, because
Right.
so now I have to wait for another appointment with another doctor that's a little closer because I'm still struggling. I just went through so much that I'm just still struggling with driving out far. And I know South Windsor doesn't seem far, but when you're just a bundle of nerves, it's a lot for
Mhm.
me. And I've had people offer to drive me and come with me, and I'm just like, I don't know. I went through so much
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to move slow right now. I just want to stay in my little 15-minute city that everybody's against, but I'm happy in my 15-minute city. And I'm just trying to really like take it easy. But
Mm-hmm.
I do feel very at peace right now. I do. I feel calm. Like I'm back. Like, so if anyone's watching, Lisa's back. At the end of the day, though, um, I almost died, and I almost died alone. And I suffered, and I suffered in silence. And yes, there was some really great women out there. I'll mention some of them. Melissa Tarr, absolutely beautiful woman. She was calling like, "What's your address? Where are you? I'm coming over. I'm not charging you for nothing. I just need to come. I just need to come and see you. I need to check on you." And I was such in a state of altered state that I don't even remember. Like I just kept saying, no, 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 I can't see anyone right now. I don't want to see anyone. There's nothing you can do. And she'd be telling me all these things on the phone. And I would say, I wasn't hearing her. And then another woman in the city, Lisa Whitehead, actually, she was not, I looked out my door and she was running to my door. She was like, she was not taking no for an answer because she called me and she said, "You weren't even making sense on the phone." Like she called and was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm not okay. I know I can't take it. I don't want to be here." I had a whole like suicide plan. Like it was bad. But I woke up one day and I was okay. Like it was the weirdest thing. And that's another thing is that I just woke up one day and I was like going down the stairs and I can remember it. And I'm going down the stairs and everything looks normal again and everything looks okay. And I'm like, oh, I feel okay. This is so weird. And then again, another conversation. My psychiatrist has been more helpful than my doctor, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
My psychiatrist just said, like, it might not have been all perimenopause, but when you're going through perimenopause and you're going through a lot and you're going through stress, and he's like, and you're working 24 hours a day, it was probably a bit of burnout with perimenopause. It just was a concoction at the same time, a little mixture of this and that.
Right.
But like I'm glad that happened to me because I feel like I'm better mentally now than I was before even any of this happened.
Right. So what I'm hearing then is embrace it, ladies, when it comes. Don't be afraid of it. Continue to reach out to different people and get the help that you need. And to support us through these times.
And I will say, like, I had the support. Like, I did have the support, but no one could help me but myself. It was one of those things where I had to pull myself out of that. But then another thing that I'm pretty upset about is if I work with women all the time, and I work with, like, I have all the emergency contact numbers, the crisis numbers, all of that. And if you have a woman who has a cell phone, has a computer, has a family, has support, has friends, has connections, and I couldn't find support, like I couldn't find the right counselor, I couldn't find the right people. If I couldn't do that, then what are people doing and what are women doing that don't have that support? Because not all women have that support or have a tight friendship or even have the contact. So if I kept hitting dead ends every single day, like this is why we do have to talk about this. We do have to have conversations because you can save somebody's life.
Right.
And yeah, it was difficult. And I found that like my really close friends, I'm going to have to say, it was all my external friends that came in. I think that I just scared the shit out of my regular circle of friends because they didn't know what to do. And I found that it was at that time that they weren't really there for me when I needed them. It's kind of and it's not their fault. It's not their fault because I may have triggered some of them that may have been going through their own thing or they didn't know how to help me. And the best thing was just to let me do my thing, right? But it's hard. It's hard.
Right. What would you say for the woman that's out there that's listening to this? What would be your one biggest piece of advice for them to get to their next step.
I will say that I am one person that thought that this wasn't going to end. And mine was, it was next week. Next week, this is going to get better. Next week, you're going to be okay. This can't last long. Even if it does last 6 months and it's hard, people love you. You can get through this and it will pass. Like, you can't be at that level. Things will start to even out, whether it be mental health or whether it be perimenopause or whatever you're going through, it will pass. You are not stuck there forever. And I'm a person who is firm on that. And I lost that vision. And like, it was like, I'm never going to get better, but I did. And if I could get better, and I was extreme, if I could find a way, and I did it, and I did it on my own. So
perhaps maybe this, I don't know. I'm not sure if we should form some kind of support group for other women. I'm not sure, but if anybody's listening to this, or if that's something, Lisa, that you want, maybe we could think of something. I don't know.
I know that it would be important. Like, all the groups that I was joining were on Reddit, which are all over the place. Reddit sometimes is all over the place. And a lot of the Reddit information was U.S. information. So in the U.S., you just like go to the doctor and they got you on HRT and they got you on estrogen and everybody's feeling great and everybody's feeling good. They're all talking about their gels and how much gel to use. And I'm like, where do I get this? Like, I was looking on Amazon. I was looking black market. I was calling like friends going, hey, you got any HRT over there that I can buy off you? Like, I was desperate, right?
Right.
But you can't do that on your own because HRT can be dangerous. Like, there's side effects, and you can't do that without being under a doctor, right? So all my information was all U.S. And then all the Facebook groups I joined was all U.S. What we need is a Windsor perimenopause, menopausal support group where people can post questions and then people can answer, and then we can give referrals into the city. And if at the end of the day, just to be able to post, I'm losing my mind over here. Can someone just like go meet me for a coffee? Like, some kind of support, because I found mine was all like the US, and I wasn't getting the support that I needed.
Well, anytime you want to go for a coffee or a walk, let me know and we'll make it happen.
I'm good now. Like, I'm good for a walk now. And I'm still going through it. Like, I just went through like the worst week of my menstrual cycle. I was like, this just sucks. But I was happy though. I'm like, yes, I have it. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, I just actually want this to go away now, because now I'm seeing that I find that you have that. We've had it for so long. A lot of people wanted it to go away, whereas I didn't want it to go away. I wanted it to stay. I wanted every 30 days or every 21 days, go through my little thing. But now I'm like so over it. I'm like, I just go away, let my hormones balance, let everything measure out. And that's another reminder, like I said at the beginning, you have to remember that menopause for most women, other than hot flashes, because I heard menopause is crazy for hot flashes. At the end of the day, it's the peri that's the issue. You want to go through 365 days, and once you get through 365 days, you're in menopause. You can't go 360 days. You can't go 355 days. It has to be full year, with no spotting, no nothing. I'm not an expert from what I'm learning.
I've said that too. And okay, so here's my thing. I was almost at the 365 and then I spotted. I'm like, nope. So I'm talking to my holistic doctor, who's also one of a friend of mine. So I can pretty much say whatever I need to say to her. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what your textbook crap says. I am done. Like, I know my body. And so, no, I haven't had a period. And she goes, when was the last time? I'm like, I don't know. I used to keep track on MyFitnessPal, but I can't. I'm locked out of MyFitnessPal now. So I don't know. I know it's been a year, at least. So I think, but my sweats are like I can be fine 1 minute, the next minute it's just like,
No,
uh,
I know in menopause they say that you still get the hot flashes. I'm talking about like a lot of women in perimenopause are on antidepressants.
wow.
Yeah,
Well,
so if you hit that year mark, I'm
well, then this is what I
so
contribute to
jealous.
mine. This is what I contribute to mine. I guess I'm different because I just like I'm laser focused on like I'm just getting through this shit and I don't care and I just like a bulldozer through everything.
Yeah,
That's how I've done life. And so I guess maybe that's the good thing because for
right.
me because I just and I never looked at my symptoms. I just here's the thing. I can adapt to any situation and I have lived my life in adapting to everything and I'm not
Right,
saying that's a good way. It's just because I've just learned to adapt and just go through it. Um,
right.
but also maybe that's why I didn't go completely insane. Although I last year I remember saying to my girlfriends, I'm like, "Do you think I have ADHD?" And they go,
Oh,
what makes you think
yes,
that?" I'm like, "Because seriously, I have the
yes,
attention span of less than a goldfish."
yes.
So I mean, seriously. And she
I
goes,
noticed
"Yeah."
ADHD, and all of my friends, like we were, all me and all my friends were like looking up ADHD, and we were even like looking up like autism, like because
Mhm.
it was a lot like just so much stuff was going on. And we were like, did we not know our whole life like that these things were happening to us? But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely ADHD.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't remember anything. Like I was, and that was freaking me out too. Like as far as anxiety, I was starting to save all my posts because, like, say I seen Dorothy Bell or O'Dell, sorry, I
That's
would go.
okay.
I've had a bad cold for this week, so don't mind
That's
my
okay.
muffled, but um, and I would save you or save somebody, and I had like 200 posts saved, and I was like, I gotta unsave all these. Like, I can't handle all this, but it's because I was forgetting people's names. Like, I would have an appointment today, and they'd call me and say, "You're seeing Dr. Smith," and I'd hang up the phone, and I'd be like, "What was that doctor's name again?" Like, just I can't remember
Yeah.
anything at all. And when I'm talking about autism, like I don't want anyone to get upset and go like that's serious, like but
Yeah.
I'm saying that there was such a severe like mental health and like for me that there was things I was doing to soothe that felt
Hmm.
um when you were looking it up, that's what would come up was ADHD and autism. So I don't have autism. That's
Right.
something serious, but
Right.
um, but I had signs of little things, and what someone had said to me was, I think it's because you were like you had a sensory overload. So
Hmm.
sometimes I would just like almost like hand flap or do things to try to regulate, right?
Hmm.
But how you were saying like you're able to like plow through, I couldn't plow through. I was done. Like I woke up one morning and for I wouldn't say it was 6 months. Like 6 months was trying to heal. I would say for a good 4 months, I couldn't do anything on my own. I needed someone. I needed someone to stay with me. I needed someone to hold my hand. I needed somebody to really get me through. I took 6 months off of work. It was I could not plow through that. I could not. I didn't know what the heck was happening.
Right.
And I
And that
think
had to
that
have been
when someone,
scary.
yeah, and I think when someone actually says to you, you're not crazy. You probably burned out from
Hmm.
work. You on top of that are going through a time of change. And had someone had told me all of that and pointed it out to me,
Hmm.
that I probably could have coped a little better. But I was just like, what's going on? Like I'm losing everything I love every single day. Like I love going out with people. I love going for walks. I love going out for dinners. And then it was at a point where it was like I couldn't even walk in a restaurant. I didn't want to see a person. I thought like people could see it. I'm like people can see what's happening here.
Hmm.
Um, so it's
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your experiences. We'll definitely have to keep in touch, go for that coffee and that walk.
For sure.
And, maybe, like you said, start up some of our own Facebook group or something to help women, Canadian women. Canadian women. Not that I would ever say no to an American, but there's a lot of, it seems like you said, like there's a lot of their knowledge for them in the United States where there isn't so much here. And so, maybe we should do that for sure.
Yeah. And like I said, everyone's different because I talk to some people, they're like, oh, my doctor was great. And then but the majority of people I talk to say, no, my doctor didn't really help me very much. So,
well, it's funny because I asked my aunt, and my aunt goes, you just dealt with it. I was a bitch, and I just dealt with it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
they do tell you. They do tell you. Sorry to interrupt, but I forget everything that I'm going to say. They tell you to just ask your mom, and you're usually like start the same time as your mom, and usually mimic her symptoms. Well, my mom had a hysterectomy.
Mine too.
So she was no help. Yeah. And then I called my grandmother. She's like in her 80s now, and she was like, "Oh, I don't remember. Like I like it was nothing, So I had nobody to ask and nobody to look up to, and I was trying to go to my aunt. I'm like I gotta go to like up the line here. Like someone's gotta help me here.
Yeah.
But no, tough. Yeah.
That's funny that you said that, because my holistic doctor asked me, well, when did your mother go in? My mom had a full hysterectomy when I was 16. So that was not normal. And her mother, after she gave birth to my uncle, ended up going into, I forget what it's called, but it's where she almost bled out. So they had to she had to take out, I don't know, her uterus or something at that time.
Yeah.
So that's no help. So my grandmother wasn't normal. My mom wasn't normal. So why should I think, I would be normal, right? So anyways, I just, like you said, I think the most important thing is that everybody's different. We all have different symptoms. We're going through something similar. So I think if we had some kind of resource where we say, listen, you're not really going crazy, and we're here to support you, right?
Yeah.
Any way that we can.
So. And I hear that a lot. I thought I was going crazy. I'm going crazy. I went crazy. I'll tell you right now, I did not think I was going crazy. I left the building. I was gone. And I can laugh about it now, but I'm telling you, there's still nights that I just cry at night because I feel like I lost 6 months of my life, and it was so terrifying, and it was so lonely. And and I'm a strong person, and just my heart breaks for anyone who had to go. Understands how you feel,
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough.
Right.
And then you look at even like women who have taken their lives at such young ages. It's like, well, what were they going through? And even some women who say that they've went into psychosis from hormonal changes. Because when I was going through what I was going through, I can tell you, I work with a lot of people who use substances, so I see psychosis a lot. Right. And there's a lot of times that I thought that I was going into a little bit of psychosis. And hormones and burning out and that fear and that anxiety all day long, that can happen. And that's really scary too, just kind of just losing touch with reality a little bit.
Right.
But I feel great now though. So I'm thankful I'm mentally stronger now. So post-traumatic growth, ladies.
Yes.
And look at the flippers and not the triggers.
That's great. Well, thanks so much, Lisa. For those of you that are watching this on the replay or live, thank you for being here. Go to our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Overcomer. Subscribe to our channel. Share with your friends. We share stories of overcoming in life, business, and service. And we're here to give hope to the hopeless, and definitely to say, hey, you're not alone in your struggles. We're here to help you. So with that, be unstoppable in all that you do. And remember, join us same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.